Listener discretion is advised. Hello and welcome to True Crime, the podcast that helps you find new, emerging, and undiscovered true crime podcasts. I'm Greg, the host and curator of True Crime. If you like today's episode, make sure to check out the episode description for links to subscribe. All right, let's get this show started.
Begin.
Hello, indie drop-in true crime listeners. My name's Ariel Nissenblatt, and I am here to introduce a podcast that I think you're really going to enjoy. You are about to hear episode 1 of The Nightingale of Iran. It's not quite a true crime podcast, but I really think you're going to enjoy it because it's about mystery and intrigue and family history and family lore and the mysterious circumstances that brought a famous Iranian family from Iran to the U.S. where they were no longer famous. They were just a regular family. What made that happen? Well, let me tell you a bit more about it, and then we'll hit play on that episode. The show takes place in the golden age for Jews in Iran. In the 1950s, there was a religious Jew, Yunus Dardashti. He became a national celebrity, singing at the Shah's palace and also on the radio. In the 60s, his son Farid became a teen idol on TV. They were beloved by Iranian Muslims, but at the height of their fame, they left the country. It was always a mystery to the host of the show, Danielle Dardashti, and her sister, Galeet. Why did their family decide to leave Iran? Now, in this documentary podcast series, it's 6 episodes long, the sisters reveal painful secrets unspoken for generations. The Nightingale of Iran is a story that will resonate with outsiders everywhere. All 6 episodes are live now. We're about to hit play on the first episode of The Nightingale of Iran. If you like it, find it wherever you get your podcasts and binge all 6 episodes now. Enjoy.
The Nightingale of Iran is brought to you by the Jewish Telegraphic Agency, covering stories of Jewish communities around the world since 1917. This is episode 1.
I grew up in a family band. The Dardashti family, a Jewish-American family band. Before my sisters and I were even born, our parents, Farid and Sheila, sang as a duo. Then we joined the show.
I'd like to introduce my daughters, Danielle, Galeet, and Michelle, and I'm the mom.
We performed all over the country, mostly synagogues and Jewish music festivals. This is a 1986 VHS recording, a show called A Dash of Dardashti in Miami Beach, Florida. My dad is the headliner, a cantor who sings opera, show tunes, and international music. He's in a black and white tuxedo. My mom is a folk singer and guitarist. She, my sisters, and I are wearing matching red skirts and shirts with white sashes around our waists. I'm 16 years old, Galeet is 13, Michelle is 6, and we're all so enthusiastic and cute, singing and playing tambourines and other instruments. We sang folk music in 12 different languages. Yiddish, English, Hebrew, Ladino, Greek, French, Spanish. But I don't think we ever sang any songs in Persian, which, looking back, seems weird to me since my dad is Persian, and especially weird since he and my grandfather were both famous singers in Iran during the golden age for Jews there, way before the Iranian Revolution. In the early 1960s, my father was a teen idol in Tehran, singing pop music on TV. And his father, my grandfather, Yunus Dardashti, was one of the most famous Iranian singers ever. A religious Jew who grew up an orphan in Tehran's Jewish ghetto, he became a beloved national celebrity in the 1950s and 60s. He sang at the Shah's palace, and fans packed into concert halls to hear him sing. But it was his weekly primetime show on Iranian national radio that made him a household name. It was before TV, when there was only one radio station in Iran and only a few hours of programming a day. People all over the country, Muslims, Jews, everyone, stopped what they were doing when his show came on.
I would be going in the street to see a whole bunch of people standing in front of it like a coffee house. I said, what's happening over here? Dardashti is singing.
In our house, it was like a curfew. Nobody supposed to talk or make a noise. Everybody should be quiet because Mr. Dardashi was singing.
The power of his voice was so incredible that they had called him the Nightingale of Iran.
But at the height of their fame, the whole family left Iran, and I could never understand why. All my life, I've heard stories about how wonderful life was during this time in Iran, how the new king, Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, was turning Tehran into Paris.
The Jews were flourishing from the 40s, 50s, under the reign of the late Shah. He was educated back in Europe, and he was a very liberal man.
It was the golden era for the Iranian Jews at the time. It was a beautiful period for Jews, for women in Iran.
And all my life, it made me mad hearing my dad and other older Jewish Persians waxing poetic about how great the Shah was, calling it a golden age. I felt like I was only getting part of the story. Because if everything was so great, why did our family leave? If Jews were flourishing, our grandfather was the voice of Iran, and our family was so steeped in Persian Jewish culture for hundreds of years, why did they leave everything behind, give up their fame and success, and raise us to be so un-Persian? It never made sense to me. Until now. This is The Nightingale of Iran, an audio documentary about identity, belonging, and music. I'm Danielle Dardashti, a storyteller, author, and documentarian. I'm teaming up with my sister, Galeet Dardashti, to create this podcast series. She's an anthropologist of Middle Eastern Jewish culture and a musician.
The story isn't that simple. You know, it's like not romanticizing what it was like in Iran.
We want to understand why our famous family left Iran during the golden age for Jews there. Why they abandoned their Iranian identity. Recordings of our grandfather on the radio were destroyed by the Islamic Revolution. Our family's story erased, and we can't travel to Iran. So we need to find another way in, deep under the surface. We want to know what really happened. Galeet and I are determined to bring our family's story and their voices back to life. This is episode 1, The Time Machine. Galeet and I are in my living room in White Plains, New York, talking about identity. How who you are, who you feel like you are, and who other people think you are can be 3 totally different things. Galeet is a performer, but in our family, she's the middle child. People often don't see her the way she sees herself.
Yeah, when people meet me and I tell them, oh yeah, I'm the quietest person in my family, they're very scared. They don't want to meet the rest of my family. Yeah, they just can't imagine that.
And most people in America, Jewish or non-Jewish, think Jews are just all one kind, the whitest kind, Ashkenazi. Around 2/3 of Jews in the U.S. are that kind of Jewish, but the other third is made up of Sephardic Jews with roots in Spain or Mizrahi Jews from the Middle East and North Africa who can look very similar to Arabs. Also, there are Jews who are Black, Asian, Hispanic, even Native American. But since these kinds of Jews are rarely represented in mainstream media, many people don't know they exist. Galeet and I are mixed. Our mom's side is Eastern European Ashkenazi from Poland and Russia, and our dad's side is Persian. But most people assume I'm plain old Ashkenazi because they aren't aware of any other kind of Jewish. A lot of people who will be listening to this podcast probably don't even know that I'm Persian. It's like weird how this is like a big part of me in a way. However,
yeah, I totally agree.
Galeet doesn't usually identify as Mizrahi because she says the term historically meant Jews who immigrated to Israel from the Middle East and North Africa. She's an expert on this stuff and a stickler. And because Galeet's work focuses on Middle Eastern Jewish culture, people assume she grew up super Persian.
A lot of people think I'm very Persian and are going to be surprised to hear that I grew up without any Persian identity at all. Like, people ask me all the time, like, how do Persian Jews do this or that? It's been my journey to try to kind of connect with this part of my heritage, with this part of my background that we didn't grow up with.
We don't speak Persian, and as kids, we hardly knew any Jewish Persian customs, like the tradition of singing the prayer Mizmor LeDavid at the dinner table on Shabbat.
No, I don't remember ever doing Mizmor LeDavid growing up. I don't think we did.
I don't remember it either. Our Persian father is the more religious one. Our Ashkenazi mom is much more secular. But still, we weren't brought up doing our Jewish stuff the Persian way.
He did. The only thing he would do was, is
that Persian?
Yeah. No, it has like quarter tones in it.
He always did do that.
Yeah, that's the only thing.
Right before the Hamotzi. And the names our family uses for parents and grandparents changed a lot over a generation. In Iran, my dad called his parents Maman and Papa. We called them Savta and Saba, the Hebrew words for grandma and grandpa. And we call our parents Mommy and Daddy, the names our mom used for her parents. Our family band was a long time ago, but man, we managed to appropriate a lot of languages, French, Italian, even Japanese. Odd that I can't remember anything we did in Persian.
No.
Like, we didn't ever sing any Persian songs in any of our concerts. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong.
Galeet and I can't believe we never questioned this before. It's never even come up in conversation. And we're a family that talks a lot. Almost nothing is off limits. So maybe why we didn't sing in Persian is a touchy subject. Galeet said, let's just ask them.
I would like to know from Daddy why, in his opinion, I mean, it'll be, whatever his answer is going to be, it'll be interesting.
I wonder if we'll be satisfied by the answer.
You might not be.
For most of the year, we all live near each other in New York, but our parents are retired and spend winters down in Delray Beach, Florida. The son of the Nightingale is a snowbird. It was wintertime, so Galeet and I asked if they could jump on a Zoom call with us.
Hi.
Hi.
Is Mommy joining?
Well, let me see if I can get this thing to be there.
Hi, Mom.
Hi.
First, we caught up a little.
She might go out with my friend Daddy's grandson.
What? On like a date?
Well, they might get together for a walk or something.
Wait, you don't think?
Then we got to our burning question.
How come we never sang any Persian songs as a family?
I'll tell you why.
Our mom made it sound like she was about to reveal a big secret, but she's just really dramatic.
I was sort of wanted you to learn Hebrew, wanted to learn English. And then we sang a lot of different languages. For me, like, Farsi. Oh, I know Farsi anyway. If I was singing Greek, that was special. If I sang something in Spanish, something, you know what I mean?
Seemed like it never occurred to them either that we didn't sing in Persian.
Was it a decision you made that, like, our family shows we would not have any Persian, or did
it was just
whatever came easy.
They said before we were born, they did sing some Persian songs as a duo.
Daddy and I sang Mastom, Mastom, Mastom when we used to sing alone. And then we sang Azizam. We learned that from, where? Should I tell you? It was from a Theater Bekel record with Giula Gil.
I've never heard it in Iran. Never heard it. It's possible that it wasn't even Iranian. It was a Afghani. Is that Mastom and Azizam were the only two Persian songs?
Well, the only two Persian songs I ever sang.
And one of them you didn't even learn from Daddy.
I taught it to Daddy.
Our American Ashkenazi mom taught Persian songs to our Iranian dad. Galeet tried to get them to clarify.
You think that maybe the rhythms and the melodies were too difficult for the Persian?
They were too foreign.
More foreign than the songs we did in Ladino and Yiddish and Greek and Japanese? I kept pressing.
So, wait, Mom, when you say they were too foreign, and that's why we didn't do the Persian songs in the family band, were they too foreign for you, or were they too foreign for you too, Dad?
No, it was for Mommy. And
I couldn't play those on the guitar.
some of them you needed like a Persian band, or you needed really somebody who was a very good Persian musician, like a pianist who could do those things, you know what I mean? So we were more interested in doing international. So 1 or 2 Persian songs was enough, because we did one in Spanish, we did one in Greek.
One, Azizam.
We didn't sing, no, we didn't never sang Azizam. When we did a family show, there was never one. There was never one Persian song in our show.
I never ever did a concert with you where you sang Azizam. Or Masto.
Right.
It's Mastom. It means I'm drunk, I'm drunk, I'm drunk.
You're listening to an episode of The Nightingale of Iran on True Crime by Indie Drop-In. We're going to take a quick break. And now back to this episode of The Nightingale of Iran.
It started to feel like Galeet and I were interrogating our parents, but their answers about needing Persian musicians were too technical and missing the point. We were trying to figure out whether our dad ever wanted us to sing Persian music. It seemed like our mom kind of wished we had.
That would have been nice. Let's go back and do it.
Okay, yeah, she was joking. But going back in time would be a really convenient way to solve the family mysteries, like why they left Iran in the first place. My dad said if he could travel back in time, he'd want to see his parents. Safta died 23 years ago, and Saba has been gone 31 years. He misses them a lot. Misses the way Saba told jokes, laughing all the way through the punchline.
I wish I would have taped him. That would have been the most beautiful thing, to record him telling a joke and laughing at the same time. It was the cutest thing in the world. Oh, God. We loved him so much.
But what if I told you I found a time machine? Because I did. Here's what happened. There was construction going on at my house. And since my parents were down in Florida, my husband and I were staying at my parents' house in New Rochelle. One day, I was doing laundry in their basement, and I made an insane discovery. Boxes and boxes of audio tapes, like hundreds of tapes recorded over decades, beginning in the 1960s when my dad left Iran to go to college in the U.S. Back then, long-distance phone calls were really expensive. Same with flights. So my dad communicated with his family in Iran by sending audio tapes back and forth across oceans. I alerted Galeet about my discovery, and she came over to see it.
Kind of CDs? Yes. Okay, in the basement. Okay, right here, there seems to be like a big stash.
The tapes from the 60s are these big, bulky gray reels I've never seen anyone use in my lifetime. They look like those old reel-to-reel kind of movies.
Oh my God, wait, that looks good. It looks older. Just based on the writing. Worse. Yeah, because it's like judging wine by the label of the wine bottle. Worse.
The ones from the 70s are cassettes, and from the 80s and beyond, it's a mix of cassette and VHS.
What happened? Bug. Ew. Dead bug. Are you recording this? Yeah.
We got all the tapes converted to digital and started listening.
Tonight we will go with my parents to do a show in a bungalow colony. You should hear Farid sing in Yiddish. As they say in Yiddish and Hebrew, he has a lot of chayim.
Farid has been writing about you in his letters to me and has told me that you are a good family and has been very kind to him.
Each tape is like a 2-hour voice memo. They're talking about what's going on in their lives, recording family celebrations, and there's so much music. Here's my mom and dad singing as a duo in New York in 1965 when they just started dating. And something I thought I'd never hear. Saba's radio show, just like it sounded on the air in 1963 Iran. Official recordings disappeared during the revolution, but these homemade tapes have been down there in the basement all this time. My dad's siblings recorded it for him straight off the radio. Why didn't our father ever tell us about these tapes? He said he wanted to hear Saba telling jokes again, and lo and behold, here are tapes of Saba telling jokes. Safta asked if my dad got the punchline. They were making this tape for him because they knew he'd love to hear it. He was so far away. And all this time, these memories have been so close by, right next to the laundry room, buried in boxes in the basement.
Farid and I got a telephone today, our own telephone.
And now, here I am, a visitor from the future, listening in like a fly on the wall, time traveling.
I am missing you very much.
"1959 Tehran, the oldest recording of Saba I've ever heard. "1968 New York City, my mom's dad, Grandpa Louie, saying hello to his new son-in-law's family.
In America, and let's hope that in the near future we will be able to meet you in person so that it wouldn't be so hard to communicate with the tapes. Shalom. Lehitraat.
Okay, 1963 Tehran. This is so crazy for me to hear. It's my Uncle Yadid, who's lived in New Jersey for the last 50 years, first learning to speak English as a teenager.
I am Yadid, and many thanks for taking care of Farid. Excuse me for I don't know very good to speak English. That's all. Goodbye.
And my Uncle Hamid, who lives in Florida, at 11 years old, singing a patriotic Iranian song. My mom, dad, and Uncle David goofing around like kids.
Ladies and gentlemen, now David and I and Sheila are going to sing a song for you. It's called Bunga Bunga Bungalow that we wrote ourselves. Okay, ready? 1, 2. Bunga Bunga Bungalow, Bunga Bunga Bungalow.
The tapes are unbelievable, hilarious, so moving. I feel like a little kid who accidentally stumbled on a secret drawer where my parents keep all their deepest, darkest secrets. Like I'm rummaging through something that doesn't belong to me, listening in on private conversations. I'm shocked at how clearly I can hear all these voices from the past. My young parents, my grandparents, my great-grandparents on my mom's side.
This is Chaim, Grandpa.
And oh my God, as a little kid, I had a thick New York accent.
Who is this little bad boy running after Doña Blanca? I am a little bad boy running after Doña Blanca.
I have a thing for finding treasure, a wooden chair on the side of the road, pebbles on the beach, bringing them home, turning them into something new. But this, it's beyond any treasure I've ever found.
The
gelt? Okay, a little loud now so everybody can hear it.
I come for the gelt. And I don't have the gelt. I come for the gelt. But I don't have the gelt. I come for the gelt.
در دشتی شرکت دارند و من خواهش میکنم برای رنگین کردن این برنامه قطعه آوازی بخونید. آقای دردشتی، شعری که این موقع بفرمایید از کی است؟ از پسی زمان.
The same type as my house. I am going to say so long for now, hoping to hear from you soon. Love, Sheila. Lehitraot.
I'm thrilled by this discovery, but also afraid of what I might find. Did my father keep the tapes hidden for a reason? Will it be painful for him that I'm going back there? A lot of it's in Persian, and I don't understand all the words, but I understand the emotion. It's like I'm sitting right there in the room with them, feeling the pain my father felt as a new immigrant 60 years ago, his sense of loss. And the excitement he felt introducing his family to his new life in America.
And now we are going to have for our second selection, it's going to be the trio, Sheila, Farid, and David.
I pour through the tapes like a researcher with a microscope, and new details come into focus, new layers of their lives that help Galeet and I understand our family and ourselves. Twists and turns we never expected, including a painful secret.
It's very nuanced and weird. And this is not something that I have ever heard Daddy or any of our relatives talk about. And so I would really like to hear this. I don't think Daddy will admit to any of it.
Come along with us as we travel through time and retrace our family's journey from Iran to Israel to America. The Nightingale of Iran, a podcast about identity, belonging, and music.
We speaking, and they are not answering us. داریم انگلیسی حرف میزنیم باهاشون جواب نمیدن.
The Nightingale of Iran is co-created and co-executive produced by me, Danielle Dardashti, and my sister Galeet Dardashti. This was episode 1, The Time Machine. I'm the host, writer, director, and senior producer. Galeet is the producer, subject matter expert, and musical director. Our theme song, Melech, is from her album Monajat. Check it out wherever you get your music. Audio editing and sound design by Rebecca Seidel and Zachary Goldberg. Story editing by Ryder Alsop. Story consulting by Asal Esanipur. Galeet and I want to thank our extraordinary parents, Farid and Sheila Dardashti, for letting us interrogate them, and also for never cleaning out their basement. We love you. In this episode, you also heard from Shala Javdan, Homa Sarshar, Lily Kippur, and Nahid Pirnazar. The Nightingale of Iran was developed with support from the Jewish Writers Initiative Digital Storytellers Lab, a project of the Maimonides Fund, Common Era, the Eunice and Soraya Nazarian Family Foundation, and the Hyman Brown Charitable Trust. Our nonprofit fiscal sponsor is Bechol Lashon. Our media partner is the Jewish Telegraphic Agency, a publication of 70 Faces Media. Our podcast marketing agency is Tink, and we are distributed by PRX. If you want to know more about the Nightingale of Iran, get some bonus content, info about events and appearances, and how you can support this project, please go to nightingaleofiran.com.
Thanks again for listening to True Crime by Indie Drop-In Network. If you would like to nominate a true crime podcast to be featured, just send me a tweet at Indie Drop-In. I'd also love to hear if one of our featured podcasts is now your favorite show. Indie Drop-In survives off ad revenue and listener donations. If you would like to contribute, please consider buying me a coffee. You can go to buymeacoffee.com/Indie Drop-In. If you look at the very bottom of the episode description, I put a link in there to make it really easy. Indie Drop-In has many other shows that you also might like. Just go to indiedropin.com. All right, see you next week.